We're live and streaming.
Hello, everyone. Hello, this is Joe Nicassio, your business coach, your business mentor. And today I want to introduce you to Orly Amor. Orly's a client of mine, but Orly does something really cool. A lot of people are speakers, they speak to crowds, but they're not getting paid. But Orly does something really amazing. What Orly does is she helps you get paid as a speaker. So, Orly, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and how the heck did you end up becoming a coach for speakers and helping people get paid?
Thank you, Joe, for having me. I'm super glad. The question comes up often, like how do you even start in this? And it kind of fell on my lap in a way. I was a public speaker for many years, and you said introduce myself, but you introduced me so well. I'm a business coach for public speakers, and I'm still the only one in the world that guarantees they'll make 150K their first year in public speaking, or I work with them until they do. So it's not a money back guarantee, but it's a lifetime guarantee. That means that I give people my condolences if you ever decide to work with me, you have me for life. So my condolences.
Well, that's a good thing. The truth is, there's a lot of people. I did Toastmasters for 7 years. I used to be shy and introverted, and I have to thank Toastmasters for helping me develop the confidence to speak. Communication and leadership skills.
Mhm.
And then I left Toastmasters because I felt like I got what I needed to, I could speak to people, I could get clients. My communication improved vastly as a result of Toastmasters. But the truth is I never even went down a paid speaker path. And so what's the difference between a great speaker and a great speaker who gets paid? What is it that paid speakers do differently that unpaid speakers don't do?
They ask for the money. I mean, it's literally that
It's
simple.
so
It
simple.
is so simple. They ask for the money. So it's not only about, about that, but I'll give you an example. And this is how I started coaching. I didn't know that speakers did not get paid. I've always been paid to speak. And I was in a conference in Arlington, Texas, in 2010, I believe. And then, so what happened there is that in the break room for speakers, these three guys came over to me. One of them said, "Aren't you Orly Amor?" I said, "Yeah, do I know you? Sorry, I don't remember." And they said, "No, we've never met before, but we've seen you on the circuit." And I said, "Oh, okay." So we started networking and chatting. And at one point, one of them said, "Listen, I'm just curious. How did you get this gig?" I said, "I don't know. I called, I told them what I speak about. They paid me, and I'm here." They all looked at me like if I had three heads. "You got paid?" And I said, "Oh my God, what did I just do?" Right. So I said, "You guys didn't? They said, "No, we got our expenses paid, but we didn't get paid." I said, "Oh no, I got paid and I got my expenses paid." And they said, "Well, we want to know how you did that." And jokingly, because I wasn't coaching at the time, and you know my personality by now, I said, "Well, if I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna have to charge you." But before I could say just kidding, they said, "Oh, okay, name your price." And I'm like, "What?" And that was my aha moment. That was my aha that speakers did not get paid. I didn't know that before then. I thought everybody got
Yeah.
paid. I thought it was just normal. I thought it was a business decision, right? I mean, you don't go to Walmart and take off with a pair of pants. You pay for it before you leave, right? So, well, for those who do want to pay for it, but
Well,
yeah,
no, I come from the Toastmasters world where nobody's getting paid. I
right.
did,
But
I did,
Toastmasters, yeah.
I did have a blessing that one of my past clients is a guy named Les Brown, who's one of the top paid speakers in the world. And he hired me. I coached him and coached his family and lived with him for 4 months. And so I got an insight to his world. I remember somebody came to him at a party and said, "You've helped me so much. It's like, let me give you $10. Just, and Les is like pushing the money away. It's like, no, you're messing with my big money mojo."
That's funny.
um, So, let me ask you this. I mean, you guarantee that people make 150K a year as a speaker. You guarantee that. And you'll keep working with people until they get that. How did you come up with that number?
Oh, that is so cool. I'm so glad you asked that question because in 2010, again, just before my trip to Arlington, my friends who are speakers were around my pool and we were having a barbecue and they're all speakers. And I was hearing them complain about not making money. Like some of them were not making money and they were complaining that nobody's paying. And I was in the water in my pool and I said, guys, what are you talking about? Minimum wage in public speaking is 150K a year. And they all said, what? Are you
Minimum
crazy?
wage.
Minimum wage. And they said, what? Are you crazy, Orly? Some of us make 50, some of us 60, 80, 100. That's pushing it. 150. You're out of your mind, Orly. And I said, okay, you do you. I'll do me. In my head was like, well, thank God I didn't tell them I triple that. Like it was really that that bad. I mean, good in my life,
Sure.
in my world, right? So I left it alone, and after and after I decided to coach, I called my friends, the ones who were at the pool, and I said, hey guys, I'm thinking about coaching speakers on the business of public speaking and guaranteeing they'll make 150K. What do you think? And they're like, oh my God, you should totally do this, we'll hire you. I'm like, what? Who are you and what have you done? With my friends. But here's what I'm going to answer to your like, what, you're going to hire me? And here's the thing: if I can guarantee you a job at McDonald's, can I guarantee you'll make minimum wage? The answer is yes. It's the law. They have to pay you minimum. If they pay you more, good for you. It's gravy, right? But can I guarantee minimum wage? Absolutely. And I'm guaranteeing minimum wage in public speaking. So it's not hard.
Sure.
If
So,
they,
so what
yeah,
what you're saying is if you make what 5 or 6 grand a speaking engagement and you do two of
30.
those a month, that
Yeah.
that puts you right. That puts you really close
Very
to those
close,
kinds of
exactly.
numbers.
Yeah. Or you do 3 a month for
Yeah.
10 months and you don't work 2 months. Or your first 2 months in working my system, it's going to be a little slow to start. But once you gain momentum and you gain it for 10 months and you only get 3 gigs a month at $5,000, guess what? That's 150K.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about your system because I think, you're not just pulling the rabbit out of a hat. This is not a random thing. You actually have a system.
Yes.
And I know that you have 3 parts to your system, and it has to do with packaging. It has to, let's see, was it packaging? And then it has to do with promotion, and it has to do with persuasion. So let's talk about the first one of those is how do you package yourself up? What are your 3 pieces? Let's start with the first piece.
Well, I always tell people I have a superpower. I have 2 superpowers. My first superpower is to position them in the industry. How many leadership speakers do you know? How many motivational speakers? Everybody calls themselves the same thing. Well, how enticing is that for an event planner to even look at you? And now
You
there's a
commoditize yourself.
yeah, you gotta definitely stand out. And that's my superpower, is how to make you stand out in front of all your competitors. Everybody that speaks about the same topic, it's okay. I can take 10 people that speak on leadership and still make them unique to event planners. The second part is to come up with 3 talk titles that are intriguing, sexy, marketable. I like to say kick ass good. And just the titles are because those are the hooks that get you paid or gets you interest with an event planner. So that's the first 2 things that I do. The
Yeah,
other part,
it's not just being a speaker, it's about what are you going to speak about. And when it hooks and it gets into people's, when the hooks get into the bones, it's like, oh, we gotta wow, my crowd needs to hear that. And when the
right,
crowd hears it, it's like, oh, can't wait to show up for that because you've hooked them with those
exactly.
those speech titles. Go ahead, continue.
Exactly. And then you got to know how much to charge, when to charge, how to scale. This is a scalable business, as well as how to talk to event planners, what to say first, second, third. What do you say when they tell you they have no money? It's not true. They don't want to pay you. That's a harder pill to swallow. But yeah, it's how you talk to them, what you say, how you say it. Your mindset has to be right too.
So let's talk a little bit about that. So the first part is how the heck are you packaged up and positioned. The second part is there are meeting planners out there. There are event planners, and they have budgets. And number one is how the heck do you find these people, and what the heck is going to make them pull out that credit card to pay you?
Right.
Tell us a little bit about who are these event planners, and how do you get to them, and how do you know them, and
So
what are they looking for?
right. Okay. Well, let's start with the last one that you said. What are they looking for? They're looking for you. There's nothing looking for. They're not looking for anything. So let's start with, they did a survey on the most stressful jobs in America, Canada and the United States. Number one was a military jet fighter plane pilot. Number two was air traffic controller. Number five was event planner coordinator. So, and maybe the next one is business coach. I don't know. You're the one that knows how stressful that is.
I'm too blessed. I'm not stressed. I'm having
I'm too
fun
blessed to
serving
be
people.
stressed.
I'm too blessed to be
I'm too-
stressed.
and
But
so,
I've done that by design, honestly. I
sure.
have had, yeah. But
Yeah.
okay, so these event planners, they got to
So
do an
event planners,
event
they're
and they got
stressed. Exactly. There's
they want a
64,000
good event.
events. There's 64,000 events a day in America alone, Canada and the United States that pay speakers. 64,000. None of you,
That's a
all
lot.
of us put together in one room for one day still will never be able to reach out to 64,000. So there is a way to find them. I mean, Google is your best friend, but there is a way to find them, to contact them, to what to say first, second, third, before you get to even talk to them. There is a procedure. And that process and what I've created is the for sure. Oh, when they tell you, oh, you're gonna get a better open rate if you do this, right? In your email blasts. Well, we don't do that, but we do have a system that gets them to respond. The responses are more important than open rate. A lot of people go, oh, well, I have a 34% open rate. Yeah, so do I. Big deal. Nothing happens with that. But what about people taking action in responding to you? And that's really where it drives it home. But you have to also have all
Yeah.
your infrastructure together. So that's the last piece of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Wait. So before you go there, so,
Yes.
as a marketing coach, this is one of the things I teach is one of the most important skills you can have as a marketer is to have empathy. So, I am a speaker, I want to get paid, but at some point you need to like get out of your own moccasins and wear the moccasins of a meeting planner. What is a meeting planner thinking about that's going to make them want to hire somebody? Like if you were going to have empathy, it's like wear the shoes of a meeting planner. What is it they're looking for in a speaker?
So, do you see the book behind me, Public Speakers, You're Not All That? 12 Reasons Why Event Planners Won't Hire You. I interviewed over 3,400 event planners for this book. It took me 4.5 years out of my own time and my own dime to get it from the horse's mouth. And the first thing in the book is speakers don't know what they're doing. So let's start
Mm,
with you might be a good speaker, a bad speaker. Let me tell you this. I don't even care if you're a good speaker or a bad speaker. If you're a bad speaker, they won't call you back. How's that? Right? Let's just get
right.
that out of the way because if you're a bad speaker, it's good. It's okay. You learn something and then you move on. But it's not about if you're a good speaker or a bad speaker or if you have a good message. I mean, if you're passionate about
That's
anything,
important, of course.
yeah, because if you're passionate about anything, you're a good speaker. If you're passionate about anything, you have a good message. Let's move on, right? And so event planners really don't care about either one of these things. They don't care about it. They want to care. You
What
know
do
what they
they care
care about?
about?
Show up on time, finish on time. You can screw an event planner's whole schedule if you don't stay on time. So guess what? The fact that you're a good speaker and everybody in the audience loved you means nothing to the event planner if you went over by 15 minutes.
Yeah, and I think you're saying something too. You want the crowd to love you.
Sure.
You want to make the crowd look good, but you want to make the event planner look good, and you want to make the event planner's boss look good.
Better. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
You know,
But and when we talk about audience, some will, some won't. Who cares who's next? I mean, you can't please everybody. I hope you don't think that you are going to please everybody. Some people will walk out, go to the bathroom, go get a sandwich while your talk is happening because they're not interested. That's fine. But you keep the ones that are there interested and happy, and you're good. You're good to go because it's just the
sure.
way it is.
Okay, so the first part of this formula is number one, you got to be positioned and packaged. Number two is you got to find out the meeting planners and you got to reach out to them. And then the third part is you still got to get paid. You got to negotiate the deal and get a contract and make all that happen. What is it that you do? What is it that you teach people so that they actually have this success in this third area of locking down the contract and getting paid?
I teach them the fee structure. I teach them the forms. They're all the forms that they're going to need. I do for them because it's going to be ready. When event planners ask for something, you got to give it to them like now, like 3 seconds from the email. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it has to be fast and you got to know
yeah, it's on its way.
and it's a language. You need to know the language to talk by which to talk to an event planner. Everybody's always mesmerized by how I teach them to talk to event planners. There's a whole conversation. And then I ask them to practice that conversation with me. And when they come on Zoom and practice it with me, they realize how much they don't know and how much they're not going to pass the test, kind of a thing. So it's a language, and we got to know that first.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
Yes,
It's like men and
indeed.
women speak a different language. And guess
Sure.
what? Speakers speak a different language than event planners. And if you can't speak the language, you aren't going to get very far. But if you can
Right.
speak the language, you can make $150,000 a year or more as a speaker, because that's
Yeah.
speaker's minimum wage for pros.
Yeah.
Um, Look, I've coached a lot of people over the years. I think you have an amazing business and service, because I know a boatload of speakers who are not getting paid, and they want to get paid and they don't know how to get paid. And you know what? If you're one of those people that you have a message, and you've got some passion behind your message, and you want to get paid and you're not getting paid, there's nobody I could recommend more. I recommend highly that you contact Orly Amor, because this is her expertise. You're a speaker that's not getting paid. Orly can turn you into a speaker who does get paid, making $150,000 a year or more, making $5 or $6 or $7,000 or more per speaking engagement. How cool is that? So, Orly, first of all, is how do people contact you?
Okay.
And then after that, we'll do final thoughts. But how do people contact you?
Well, I'm on social media, so LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I'm all over the place. Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And they can go to my website, meetorlyamor.com, MEET orlyamor.com. And you can actually just email me directly at orlyamorspeaks@gmail.com. That's also a way to get in touch with me.
Okay, great. So let's get some final thoughts. What would you tell somebody who isn't getting paid as a speaker? What would you tell them in terms of hopefulness that they can get paid?
Well,
It's like
it's
other
really
people get paid, but not me. What would you tell somebody who has a good message and isn't getting paid, but they maybe have some doubts? What would you tell
Well,
them?
usually it's my tagline. If you have a message, somebody's willing to pay for it. That's my tagline. If you have a message, somebody's willing to pay for it. That's the truth. So you just have to find the right person that wants to pay for it. And are you patient enough? Are you willing to do the work it takes to get to where I was? I mean, I didn't start and it was easy. So if you have an investment of an hour a day, 5 days a week, are you willing to do that for the rest of your life? That's the commitment. Are you willing to do an hour a day, every single day,
Well, and,
5 days
and
a
and
week?
you're saying something really important. You're saying something important here, and that is, if you want to get paid as a professional speaker, you can't do this as a hobby. You got to treat it like a business.
Correct. Correct. Very true.
All right. Well, I want to just thank you for the work that you're doing. I want to thank
Thank
you
you.
for, being a client. I'm so proud of the progress you've made. Look, Orly is successful as a speaker, and she's successful as a speaker's business coach. If you're a speaker and you want to get paid, I want to encourage you to contact Orly, because she will change your freaking life. She is an agent of transformation. She transforms unpaid speakers into highly paid speakers. And if that's the territory you want to play in, if you're tired of being an unpaid speaker and you want to be a highly paid speaker, there's nobody on the planet more qualified than Orly Amor to help you do that. So, Orly, I want to thank you for your time, and
Thank
God
you.
bless you for you and the work
God
that you
bless you.
do. And I want to
Appreciate
just
you.
tell you to have an amazing day for those
Thank
people
you.
listening.